You're doing this wrong. You think your avoidant ex feels nothing when you finally move on, but inside, they're quietly panicking. What looks like indifference is actually their nervous system going into overdrive. Research from the University of Maryland shows that avoidantly attached people often misinterpret emotional triggers as threats to their independence, even when those triggers are about love or loss. Their brains try to stay calm by shutting down emotions, but that shutdown doesn't mean peace. It means inner chaos disguised as control. I see this with my clients every day. They'll tell me my avoidant ex doesn't even care, but weeks later, that same ex starts reaching out of nowhere, liking old photos, sending nostalgic texts, acting confused about their feelings. It's not random. It's panic. It's the moment when their emotional defense finally cracks under the pressure of seeing you reclaim your power. Here's what most people get wrong. They think that because the avoidant wanted space, they'll feel nothing but relief when you finally give it to them permanently. But attachment research shows something fascinating. The avoidant attachment style doesn't mean someone doesn't form attachments. It means they form attachments while simultaneously activating a deactivating strategy that makes them appear detached. So when you move on, you're dealing with someone whose brain is wired to suppress their attachment response until the threat of abandonment becomes real. At first, when you start to detach, the avoidant tells themselves a story that keeps them feeling safe. It goes something like, "Good. Now they're gone. I needed space anyway." Their body finally relaxes because the pressure of emotional closeness is gone. But that calm is deceptive. Within days or weeks, tiny cracks appear. They might see you post a photo smiling with friends, and suddenly their chest tightens. Their thoughts wander back to you. But instead of feeling warmth, they feel irritation or confusion. They start asking themselves, "Why do I even care?" without realizing their attachment system has been triggered. When you move on, it hits them differently than the breakup itself ever did. The breakup was their choice. Your moving on makes it real. For someone with avoidant attachment, this feels like losing control of the narrative. They spent the relationship managing closeness by pulling away when things got too intimate. Now, they can't pull you back because you're already walking away. That helplessness awakens the very vulnerability they've spent years suppressing. The panic shows up in subtle ways. They'll scroll through your social media not because they missed a relationship, but because they're searching for reassurance that they still matter. They check their phone expecting your name and feel a jolt when it's not there. They may reach out just to check in, but quickly pull back once you respond, confused by their own mixed signals. This push-pull behavior isn't calculated. It's a physiological reaction. Their system is trying to regain balance, but it can't do that without confronting the emotional intimacy they once avoided. This is where attachment theory gets really interesting. The avoidant brain operates on a push-pull mechanism. When you were close, their system screamed danger and pushed you away. But their system was only comfortable pushing because it trusted you'd stay in orbit. You were supposed to be the moon, always circling, never landing, but never leaving either. When you actually leave the orbit entirely, their system doesn't celebrate. It panics. Soon after that first wave of confusion, the real emotional aftermath begins. They start comparing everyone to what they had with you. On a new date, they notice the laughter isn't the same, the rhythm feels awkward, and the connection feels flat. What they're really reacting to is the sudden drop in emotional intensity. The new connections they form feel strangely dull because their body got used to the mix of closeness and distance it once had with you. Imagine this scenario. They're talking to someone attractive and fun who doesn't ask difficult questions about commitment. By all logical standards, this should be easier and better, but their body tells a different story. They feel empty, like they're eating food that has no flavor. The conversation feels transactional. The attention feels conditional. And suddenly they realize something uncomfortable. With you, even though they complain constantly, they didn't have to perform. You saw their worst and stayed anyway. What's really happening is that their system is comparing everyone to the emotional safety net you provided. These new people feel hollow by comparison, like drinking artificial sweetener when you're used to honey. They don't realize that what they're really missing isn't you specifically, but the version of themselves that got to be imperfect and still be chosen. The version that could be distant, moody, or inconsistent and still wake up to your good morning text. That kind of acceptance is incredibly rare, and most avoidants don't recognize its value until it's completely gone. To cope, their mind tries to rewrite the story again. They'll start telling themselves you weren't really a good fit, or that you changed too much. But underneath the stories, regret starts to grow, not just for losing you, but for realizing they never showed up fully when they had the chance. They remember your patience, your understanding, the steady presence that once made them feel safe. That regret doesn't come as a grand revelation. It seeps in slowly, maybe through a quiet night, when they see a couple walking hand in hand, or when they hear a song that suddenly stings. The real kicker? They start realizing that the very things they complained about were actually signs of healthy love. When you asked for consistency, they felt controlled. When you expressed hurt at their distance, they felt suffocated. But now they're understanding that these weren't attacks on their freedom. They were boundaries from someone who valued themselves. The requests they framed as demands were actually just basic relationship standards. Reply within a reasonable time. Don't disappear without explanation. Show up emotionally, not just physically. These weren't unreasonable expectations. These were the bare minimum of adult intimacy. But their system interpreted even the bare minimum as prison bars. What happens next depends on their level of self-awareness. Some avoid and stay stuck in this cycle, always keeping people at a distance, then panicking when those people finally leave. They'll reach back out with breadcrumbs, a random text asking how you are, a comment on your social media after months of silence. But here's what you need to understand about these reach-outs. They're almost never about genuine change or growth. They're about regulating their own anxiety. They're not reaching out because they're ready for a relationship. They're reaching out because your absence has become more uncomfortable than your presence. The moment you respond warmly, their system will likely calm down and the cycle will repeat. And this is where the transformation happens, not always for both of you, but certainly for you. Understanding what's truly going on when you avoid and panics is what frees you from self-blame. Their confusion is not a reflection of your worth. It's the echo of their unhealed fear of closeness. When you grasp that, their coldness loses its power. Their panic becomes proof not that you were too much, but that you touch emotions they spend their whole life running from. Moving on from an avoidant doesn't mean you gave up on love. It means you chose yourself over someone who couldn't choose you back. You're not cruel for stopping the chase. You're healthy. You're not cold for not responding to their breadcrumbs. You're boundaried. Love shouldn't require you to disappear parts of yourself to make someone comfortable. Connection shouldn't feel like walking on eggshells. You are not here to be someone's safety net while they explore other options. You are here to build something real with someone who's ready. If this message resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that turns confusion into clarity and pain into power. Drop a comment below. What surprised you most about your avoidance reaction when you finally moved on? Keep healing, keep growing, and keep choosing people who choose you actively, not just panic when you leave.